Today on FSI, we are breaking down the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams from a betting perspective. Now, we're currently 16-4 in our official moves through Twitter, so make sure you're following that account. Now, I've done all the film research and he's done all the analytics so we can give you the best information to make an educated decision on the game. I'm your host, Tom Cross, and to my right is our analyst expert, Stephen Fu.
Thanks for tuning in this week. The Seahawks are on the road as a 1.5 point underdog. They're plus 110 on the money line, and the Rams, they're minus 130.
I feel like the odds makers, they got this right. Now, I'm a little surprised the Rams aren't a little bit more of a favorite coming out the bye, but the public, they're going to be all over Seattle thinking that Russell Wilson can't drop two straight. Well, I think the Sharps, they might actually be on the Rams.
The Rams should be very well rested after their Week 9 bye. I think the spread is spot on because even though the Seahawks are division leaders, they played a tough game last week in Buffalo. These two elements alone should factor into this matchup.
Now, quarterback Jared Goff has been really inconsistent, but I think part of the reason is whoever scheduled these guys did a horrible job because they've literally flown out to the East Coast from LA 4 times. But they are coming off a bye week, so they can get some consistency together. I feel like Jared Goff will play a good game against Seattle because they can't pressure the quarterback.
The MVP draft stock of Russell Wilson is taking a vertical nosedive into the ground. The Seahawks are forcing him to play in extreme adverse circumstances, and he has to perform a miracle every single week just to get a win. Now, this is not going to be a recipe for success.
Now, the Rams' offensive line is one of the most improved groups in the NFL. They did struggle against the Dolphins, but lately the Dolphins have been giving everybody a problem. Now, when I look at this game and I see Seattle, they were able to blitz Josh Allen and get a lot of pressure, but they were down in that game and they were doing an all-out blitz and leaving 3 DBs in the back. Now, when the Bills screened against that, they were very successful, and that's exactly what the Rams do. They throw a ton of screens, so I feel like Seattle's not going to be able to blitz Jamal Adams like they were against the Bills, so advantage to the Rams here.
It's no secret that Seattle has the worst offensive line of the decade. They're giving up an average of 3 sacks this year, and you can add 5 more to that from last week. And this week, they're going to be up against Aaron Donald of the Rams. He's been a top-tier pass rusher for many years. The Seahawks offensive line are about to get crushed here.
Now, when I look at the Rams wide receiver core, it's pretty stacked. They got Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Higbee, as well as Reynolds. So they got 4 viable options at wide receiver and tight end. Now, when I look at Seattle's secondary, it's one of the worst in the league. The Bills absolutely murdered them and beat them by 21 points. So I got to give an advantage to the Rams here.
DK Metcalf has made a tremendous leap from his rookie year, establishing himself as a primary receiver for Seattle and a top 3 receiver in the entire league. It's kind of easy to forget about Tyler Lockett, but he's having a phenomenal season himself. 600 yards on the season and 7 touchdowns too. However, he's no longer the number 1 guy for Seattle. The Rams are giving up a league low 6.3 yards per pass, so it's actually evenly matched here.
Now, when I look at the Rams running game, it's very effective, and the reason why is that a lot of their passes are screen passes, and they're always screening it out to Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods or one of the running backs, and they got one of the best and most balanced running attacks in the league. Now, when you look at Seattle, they can't really stop anybody, so you got to give an advantage here to the Rams, and every time the Seattle does blitz, I feel like the Rams are going to hit them with a nice screen pass.
Seattle has completely transformed the offensive style into a run offense. They still run the ball quite efficiently at 4.5 yards per carry, but their total run volume is much lower than before. The Rams have a top 5 run defense, so I think they should be able to stop Seattle here.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Rams, they suffered from scheduling. They've been out to the East Coast 4 times this year. So I feel like a team that really needed a bye week was them. I feel like their defense is going to be able to get back on track. They're going to be able to obviously pressure Wilson, who has one of the worst offensive lines in the league. And also Jalen Ramsey and DK Metcalf will be a draw. So I feel like the Rams are going to be able to take advantage of being at home and the bye week and go ahead and beat the Seattle Seahawks.
The Rams defense matches up quite well against the Seahawks. However, the Seattle defense doesn't match up that well with the Rams or any of the other 31 teams. So I'm taking the Rams here money line in this matchup.
Now remember, we can't predict injuries or the weather, so make sure you follow our Twitter for our official moves. We're currently 16-4 and we are murdering the sports book. Do me a favor and smash that like button and subscribe. Tell us who you're going to be taking in the comments below.
We don't care about favorite teams here. Our focus is on making you money. Follow our social media on Twitter, Instagram, or our webpage. The links are below.